We've probably all been there, scrolling through Instagram or Facebook, an ad pops up, and what do? An impulse purchase. And then you end up having buyer's remorse. And you can probably live with that. But if you buy a house and you have buyer's remorse, now that's a whole nother ballgame. A study by HomeLight done about a year ago in 2022 found that 70% or more of the people who purchased homes in America had at least one regret. And these were people who purchased homes between 2020 and 2022. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you the top 5 regrets. And I'm also going to give you some ideas on ways to keep from having those same regrets when you do buy a home. And make sure you stay for the end, because I'm going to share the number 1 regret. And I'm curious, can you guess what it is? Stay tuned and let's find out. Hi, my name is Connie Carlson. I am a local real estate agent here in Atlanta, Georgia, and my channel is all about educating people wanting to move to Atlanta. What is it like living here? What are some tips and tricks to buy or to sell? And then, of course, I'm going to share all our great videos of homes that we have available for sale. So if that sounds like something that would be interesting to you, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our great content. God forbid you get in your new house, you're there for a couple months, and you finally realize like something's not right. Like we don't have the spaces that we needed to accommodate our lifestyle. Well, that's the number 5 biggest regret that these survey participants had, was the layout of the house was not conducive to their lifestyle. So how do you prevent that from happening? Well, here was what I often recommend. Take a white sheet of paper, draw a line down the middle. On the left side, you put needs. On the right side, you put wants. And everybody who's involved with purchasing that home needs to have their own piece of paper. So go to separate sides of the table, go to separate rooms, and fill it out separately. And then you're going to come back together and compare notes and decide what's most important. So what are wants and needs? Needs are must-haves, absolute, will not even look at a house, don't even show it to me if it doesn't have this thing. So for example, if you have to have 4 bedrooms because you have a certain number of kids or you work from home and you need a home office, if you need 4 bedrooms, then tell your agent, don't show me a house that's a 3-bedroom. Or if you need a primary bedroom on the main due to maybe health concerns or whatever, don't even look at a house that has a master upstairs. If it is an absolute need, put it in the need list. Now, the need list should probably be pretty short. The want list can be longer, and we'll start looking. A lot of times I have clients that say we want a primary bedroom on the main floor. And so we'll start looking, and maybe in their price range, we're not finding any homes that they like with the primary bedroom on the first floor. If it's in the want column, then we know that we can start looking at other homes with the primary upstairs. So hopefully that makes sense. Do your homework and know what you absolutely have to be happy and what you'd like to have, and share that with your real estate agent. Owning a home can be costly. There's not only just the mortgage payment, there's other things involved. And that was the number 4 regret that these home buyers had, was that they didn't understand the cost of owning a home. And that can include property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and things like that. So a couple of things to note. You have to pay property taxes on your home. In Cobb County, where we help a lot of home buyers buy, I always tell them to figure about 1% of the sales price is going to be what you're going to need for property taxes. Now, if you escrow your taxes, that means that your mortgage lender is going to take out a little bit of your property tax costs every single month and then pay the bill for you. So you don't have to actually budget for it. It's already included in your mortgage. Same with insurance. With insurance, you should do your homework. And probably the number 1 mistake I see home buyers make is they don't get a professional insurance representative to help them right from the start. The day you go under contract, you should be talking to your insurance rep to make sure that there's no historical losses that were claimed on that particular property that were never fixed, that could be an issue later, and to just have a better idea of what type of insurance is best for you to cover those emergencies, because God forbid something happens and you didn't have the right insurance to cover it. So your homeowner insurance is very similar to taxes in how it's paid. You can have your mortgage company escrow that money for you and make the payment themselves, or you can budget for it. So just know, before you buy a house, have a good idea of what your taxes are going to be. If you're buying a $500,000 house, your property tax bill is probably going to be around $5,000. So that will be helpful when doing your budgeting as far as what you're going to need to save when those big bills come due. Another regret that these buyers expressed was that they felt that they made a decision to buy a home too quickly. And keep in mind that this survey was done at the beginning of February 2022, looking back 2 years, when the market was crazy. Multiple offers were more common than not, and the buyers were rushing to get their home under contract before interest rates were going to go up, because everybody was predicting them, and actually they did. And so that put a lot of pressure on these buyers to make quick decisions. Now, fast forward, we're 1 year from that type of environment. And so what can you do to make sure that you don't have to make a decision too quickly? Well, I will tell you this. If you are looking for a home in a highly desirable area in Cobb County, for example, some of our best school districts in those price ranges, anywhere from $400,000 to $1 million, really, if it's a great house, you might still have a multiple offer situation, and you might still have to make a quick decision. And that's why it's so important to pull out your wants and needs list and make sure that before you make an offer on that property, it meets the essential needs that you have. I think a lot of buyers these days are going out initially, and we're seeing a lot of sticker shock. You know, they thought they could have all of these things for $750,000, and then when it came down to it, they weren't actually able to get everything they want. So it's readjusting what your expectations are for your budget, so you are making a decision that you're not going to regret later. Now, if you're looking for a property and it's not close to Atlanta, or it's not in like this hot type area, maybe out in Paulding County or some of the farther suburbs, you are probably not going to experience a multiple offer, and you're not going to have that pressure to make a quick decision. You're going to have more properties to look at, and those properties may not have any offers on the table, which will give you a day or two to make that decision. So I often tell my clients, if you find that perfect home, and if you sleep on it, you might not sleep in it, which is definitely true. You never know when another offer is going to come in. But at the same time, I don't want you sleeping in it for the next 5 to 10 years and be unhappy. So just make sure you absolutely know what you're looking for, and be okay with saying no if you possibly can. So before we do the last 2 biggest regrets, I want to know, have you ever purchased a home and had a major regret after purchasing it? Comment down below what that regret was and what you did to fix it. If you've never owned a home before, you may not understand the cost of maintaining the home. There's yard maintenance, there's cosmetic things like paint and flooring. And then what happens if something goes wrong with the plumbing, or you have to take care of the pool, and it goes on and on and on. Your HVAC goes out, or you have to replace light bulbs. You guys, those things cost money. And that was the number 2 biggest regret, was home buyers did not understand the cost of maintaining a home. So I did a little research, and what I found was experts are saying a baseline budget is about 1% of the value of the home. So if it's a $500,000 home, you can budget for about $5,000 a year in expenses. Now, of course, that is very, very rough estimate. It depends on the age of your home, the age of the HVAC, the age of the roof, all of those things play into that number. But $5,000 is nothing to sneeze at, right? That's almost $500 a month that you need to be saving for these things. And that's what I tell my clients. Have that budget in your income to put to your savings. Because if you wait for, the roof to go bad and you don't have the money saved up to replace it, that could be a very discouraging and bad situation. And it's no surprise that between 2020 and 2022, the biggest regret that buyers have about their home purchase was they feel that they paid too much. Even though interest rates were really low back then, they're still feeling that buyer's remorse that they overpaid for their home. And that's really sad, because what happened was the home prices were escalated because of all these multiple offers. People were chasing that low rate, bidding up home prices. And once interest rates went up towards like July of last year, 2022, home prices dropped because the market just kind of froze for a while. We're starting to see prices come back up as people kind of get used to the 6% interest rate. We're seeing more buyers come on, especially with the seasonality here that we're experiencing this spring in Atlanta. So it is yet to be seen whether what they paid for 2 years ago is going to end up being probably the new level of where home values are. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So how do you prevent overpaying? Well, first of all, make sure you have an agent who understands real estate markets. Does your agent do videos like this? Does your agent educate the public on what's happening to the real estate market? Are they talking to other agents? Are they getting a sense what's going on internationally, nationally, to the economy and how it impacts home values? Because you definitely don't want to buy at the height of the market. The hard part is no one can time the market. We don't know if prices are going to keep going up. We don't know if they're going to keep going down. So if it's time for you to buy a house and you have the financial well-being to buy it, then I think you should just buy it. If interest rates go down, you can always refinance. Now, you may have to readjust what your expectations are. As prices have gone up, home buyers have, sometimes I think they go into the market, they want all of these things, and when they see what those things are going to cost, they say, well, maybe we can push our budget a little bit higher so we get exactly what we want. And be careful of that, because if you push that budget up higher to get all of the things you want, and you also don't take into account maintenance and insurance and taxes, you may get yourself in a situation where you're eating ramen noodles and canned cream corn on Friday nights and Saturday nights. And I definitely don't want that for you. So with all that being said, it breaks my heart that 70% of home buyers over those last 2 years have regrets about the home they purchased. My goal and my team's goal is to make sure there are no regrets, that there's only happiness, because we want you to be happy in your home. And we are dedicated to making sure that happens. So feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to give you a consultation on what it's going to cost you, the maintenance costs, the insurance costs, the taxes, what you get for your budget, all of those things. That's what we do. And before you leave, make sure you check out this playlist where I like to share just different tips and tricks that buyers can use to have a great home purchase. And then, so you don't miss any of my content, make sure you subscribe too. Have a great day.